Tottenham have a very big decision to make this summer involving captain Heung-Min Son and whether they should keep him at the club beyond the transfer window or decide whether it is finally time to get rid of him and let him go out in a blaze of glory after finally lifting a piece of silverware and captaining us to the Europa League triumph under Ange Postecoglou in Bilbao just last month, or 2 months ago now. The time really is flying by. It's a very delicate situation and the fan base are incredibly split on what we should do over Heung-Min Son. Son currently has 1 year left on his contract at Spurs. It runs out in 2026, meaning if we were to sell him this summer, it would be the last available opportunity that we could recoup a fee for him. The alternative is we let him run down his contract and leave as a free agent next season, which, to be honest with you, although we maybe need the money at the moment, I'm not against letting one of our club legends and one of the men that have stayed incredibly loyal to us over the years leave for free if that is his wish. He will be 33 at the time of the contract ending, and he will be, let's face it, at the end of his career. There have been a lot of links with Saudi Arabia. There have been very recent reports linking him with a move to LAFC in the MLS, which I think would be an amazing move. It would let him link back up with Hugo Lloris, who's the goalkeeper there still. But it would also be a very, very sad day. And I'm still almost trying to make my mind up on what I want to happen as I'm sat here recording this video. Because at the end of the day, Son is the guy that stuck around. He is the man that decided when Dele Alli left, when Christian Eriksen left, when Harry Kane left. He was the man who decided to stay and give his all to this club that gave him that chance after signing him from Leverkusen. And it turned out eventually to work. He got his hands on that trophy, and that's all he's ever wanted. And he's been saying that for a few years now, is all that he wants is to be able to win a trophy with Tottenham. And you could see the emotion on his face when we got over the line against Manchester United in Bilbao. You could see how happy he was in the parade, in the aftermath, in the days after that famous night in Spain. I was very fortunate enough to be there and witness it live. And it's a night I will never forget. And I've got to assume that it's a night that Heung-Min Son will never forget as well. And that's what would make it so sad, I think. If he did leave the club this summer, it would be really sad. But there are conflicting reports out there saying that he would love to leave on a high. And you've got to consider as well, it's also another summer of change. We've got another new head coach coming in. We're looking at bringing in new signings to the club. Has Heung-Min Son actually got a place at Tottenham next season? Now, last season, let's be honest here, he did not have the greatest of campaigns. You know, he was struggling with injuries, and I think it was very, very evident that his body is starting to catch up on him, and that was perhaps a reason for the lesser output, or we could say that it is down to Ange Postecoglou's system, the high intensity, the constant pressing. And as someone who's 32 years old at the moment, maybe Heung-Min Son's not really capable of doing that to the level that Ange Postecoglou required, and that's why he kept picking up niggles. At the end of the day, he still played 46 times for Tottenham. He only scored 11 goals and got 12 assists across all competitions, which for a lot of players actually probably sounds very, very good. But when you compare that to his previous seasons, in 2023 and 24, he had 17 goals and 10 assists. And that was along just 2 different competitions. That was literally only the Premier League and the Carabao Cup, whereas this season was across Premier League, Carabao Cup, FA Cup and Europa League. So his output was actually higher in less games, less competitions last season. And the season before that, he had a similar one to this, to be fair, which was 14 goals and 6 assists in all competitions. But then, if you go back to the 2021-22 season, 24 goals and 10 assists. We are very much missing that sort of output from Heung-Min Son. And it's now at a crossroads, in my opinion. We're now at a crossroads. Do we keep him and rely on and hope that he can recapture that form to be able to pick up those sorts of levels of numbers again? Realistically, can we sit here and tell ourselves that Son is going to be able to score 15 plus goals in the Premier League next season? Because I'm not entirely sure that he can. Having watched him in the flesh and on TV and done a lot of analysis on him last season, I think a lot of it comes down to confidence, and we've always said that Heung-Min Son is a purple patch player. He is very much someone who thrives on confidence and needs confidence to be able to perform well, and he lacked that last season. And a lot of that will have come down to the fact that we struggled so much in the Premier League under Ange Postecoglou, obviously finishing 17th, winning barely any ever games, and for that reason, you could potentially give him a bit of leeway, but if you have to go back at least 3 or 4 years to get him scoring 20 plus goals in the Premier League, you have to consider whether that time and that peak of his career is actually over. And football is a very brutal game. It is very, very harsh when it comes to replacing players. And we saw it with the likes of Lloris, who went downhill very quickly. Dele Alli fell off a cliff in terms of his form for a number of different reasons, including mental health issues. Heung-Min Son maybe just looks like his legs are going a little bit. And for that reason, is it worth cashing in on him? If Saudi Arabia come in with a £40 million bid for Heung-Min Son, you have to sit there and think that can be reinvested. You know, that all of a sudden stops us potentially maybe going from Mohamed Kudus and then focus on other positions to getting Mohamed Kudus and maybe someone like Xavi Simons, or maybe we even go back in for someone like Eberechi Eze, because all of a sudden we're recouping funds from selling Son, and then all of a sudden you're replacing him with someone that's 6, 7, 8 years younger, is very exciting and can improve the team. Can we now go out into the transfer market and get players who are better than Heung-Min Son? And that is the controversial talking point, I think, because I'm trying to look at it from literally an analytical perspective rather than with an emotional view to it, because I love Heung-Min Son, and he is without a doubt one of the nicest blokes in football. But everybody has their end date. Everybody has their end date. And you have to be a freak of nature to be at your top level as an attacker playing well into your 30s. You know, we only really see the likes of Messi doing it. We see the likes of Ronaldo doing it. I mean, you look at Suarez, who's 38, and he looks like in every game that he plays in the MLS at the moment, he really struggles. And what I don't want to happen is I don't want Heung-Min Son to remain at the club next season and be so poor that fans start to turn on him and fans start to resent him because he's not scoring as many goals and he's not gaining as many assists and he's not impacting the team in the way that he wants, because then his departure next summer, because I very highly doubt that we're going to give him a new contract, all of a sudden his exit next summer is less glorious and is less emotional, because if he were to leave now, as I said, we've just won the Europa League. He can close the book on this chapter and leave with his head held high as a legend of the club. And he may even get a statue in the future. The captain of the team that won their first European trophy in 41 years or however long it had been, and that's no easy feat to achieve. We had one of the greatest strikers in the world in Harry Kane at the club for a number of years, and we won absolutely niche. So that is a massive respect to him. I don't know, if you had to ask me where my heart lies right now, I still think I would find it too difficult to detach myself from Heung-Min Son. And I personally, if it was up to me, would keep him. I know a lot of people will say, get the money, replace him, and build on the squad. But even if Son's not a starter next season, I think he would still be very much good enough to have some sort of impact, even if he's not playing every single week, even if he's coming off as a bench as an impact sub. The question then is, would Heung-Min Son be willing to play that sort of role for Tottenham? And I'm not sure that he would be, just because he knows how important he has been to this team, and he knows himself the sort of ability that he still has. And when he's on it, and we saw flashes of it in the 24-25 season, he can still be a borderline world-class player. But I just miss watching him cut inside and curling one into the top corner. And I would love to have one more season of that, and that's my heart speaking. My head speaking is that, like I said, if a bid did come in for him, that's reasonable, of course. If someone's offering like 10, 15 million, they can get out. But if a bid did come in for him that is reasonable, I don't think I could sit here and say that we should reject it and keep him at all costs. So it's an adaptable situation, in my opinion. Should Tottenham keep Heung-Min Son for another season? It depends is the ultimate answer to that. If a bid comes in, we should very much consider giving thought to him leaving. If not, I am more than happy to keep him. As I said, I love him. He's my captain. He delivered one of the best nights in my life. It is amazing, and I really, when the time does come, I will be really, really sad about it, just like I was with Kane, just like I have been with so many other players in the past. Heung-Min Son holds a very special place in my heart. But yeah, you guys let me know down in the comments what you would like to see happen with Heung-Min Son next season. Would you like to see him stay at Tottenham for one more year, or would you cash in on him this summer and work on a replacement? Thank you so much for watching. Before I do round off this video, I do just want to add a massive condolences to Diogo Jota's family. News literally breaking as I was about to hit record on this video that he's tragically passed away in a car crash, him and his brother Andre, 5 days after Diogo Jota got married. So heartbreaking for the Liverpool family, for his kids, for his wife. And yeah, rest in peace, Diogo, because that is just gut-wrenching news. I will catch you guys in the next video. Stay safe, enjoy the rest of your week, and as always, come on you Spurs.